looking over his shoulder, wondering if Esau was going to poke his head from behind a bush and say, "I'm here, and I'm going to set the score at even today." I can only imagine that Jacob sweated night after night, wondering if this day was going to be his last day. Now, of his own volition, Jacob is going to meet his brother. What has changed? Why has Jacob finally decided to stop running, stop hiding? It's not only to get away from his deceiving father-in-law, because Jacob could have run somewhere else. He's going back to meet his brother deliberately. In the Rebbe of Ropshitz's commentary on the first word of this week's Sidra, Vayishlach, he takes the word apart and makes it into two. Vayishlach. Like the Yiddish word oivei, what Jacob did was got rid of all of his negative thoughts. What Jacob was able to do is divest himself of all of that internal angst that he harbored for all of those years. All of those imaginings that had haunted his days and his nights, he threw away. "There's only one thing for me to do," he said in his heart of hearts, "and I will go forward directly." You know that so much of Judaism is tied up with behavior, what we do. And what we do is of paramount importance, because it is how the world perceives us. But what we do is informed about how we perceive what we're about to do. In other words, what we think. What we think makes ultimately our actions. So Jacob had to convince himself, first and foremost, that this was the right course of action for him to do, and then to put metaphysical blinders on himself and do what for him previously was the unthinkable. He sent away, he banished all of his negativity. In considering banishing out the negativity of the things that weigh us down, we can consider the fact too that if we were capable of doing this in our lives, we would live a life that would be unimpeded by darkness. Our life would be full of light, full of radiance, full of hope, full of possibility. If we could stop being afraid of our shadow, we would be bathed in light. All the things that we imagine we could be could come true. Rabbi Chaim Volozhin makes this point when he says in his book, "The Yetzer Hara renews its battle daily against us." The worst inclinations of humanity come to us time and again, preventing us from achieving our goal, preventing us from climbing the mountain that is far less high than we imagine it to be. And if you need further evidence of this, look in the 6th chapter of the book of Genesis. And in verse 5, you'll find the following reading. Vayar Hashem ki rabbah, and God saw that humanity was evil, v'chol yetzer, that the inclination of humanity was to hurt itself, deride itself, to say time and again, you can't do this, you can't climb that height, you can't make friends with an implacable foe, you can't make peace with somebody that has given you war, you can't become who you're supposed to become because of all of these various reasons. So Jacob's story comes to us unshielded, unveiled, for us to be able to realize that this story is not about only Jacob, it's about us as well. When we stop fearing fear, when we stop being afraid of what we possibly can become and banish the darkness from our thoughts, then we can become all that we imagine we can be. It all starts with our intentions, and then is ultimately meted out by our hands. Wishing you a beautiful, sweet Shabbos